Fine. So in today's class, we are going to discuss continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So before we start explaining this concept of continuous delivery and continuous deployment, let me show you an image so that you can understand the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Okay. So it is a process in DevOps framework in which the product is built, the software is built and delivered to the user and deliver to the user for real-time usage. Fine. So in today's class, we are going to see what is this continuous delivery and continuous deployment. As you can see in this picture, okay, let me explain the concept of continuous delivery with a real-time example. If you take an online banking app, a new bill payment feature passes all automated tests. It waits for a manager approval before customer can use it. So this continuous delivery is a process that we do before the release of software for real-time usage. Fine. See, before we deliver a product for real-time usage, all things has to be checked up. All tests has to be completed. Okay, to make sure that the software is working perfectly, okay, in real-time usage, and it is working perfectly for all the test cases, then only the software or any product will be allowed to deploy in the real-time usage. Fine. So if I am developing an online banking app, the first thing, okay, in case if I'm adding an extra feature or adding a small feature in the previous deployed software, then what I will do, I will make a correction, or I will make a few features to be added in the previous software. So everything has to be integrated and tested properly, okay, and make sure that it is ready for release. That process we call it as continuous delivery. Okay, so let me show you a diagram here. So here you saw a diagram in which the code is developed and it is built. Okay, after you developed the code for the software, it has to be tested, and then the manual approval is required before it released for online production, before it is released for the online usage. Fine. So every change is automatically built and tested. So whatever changes is made, okay, in the software has to be built and tested, has to be built and tested. Then the software is ready for release at any time, but a human decides when to push it to the users. Okay, once the test is completed, when the software is ready to release for online production, okay, we need a manual approval for releasing the application in real-time environment. So that process we call it as continuous delivery. Fine. And these are the key ideas of continuous delivery. That is, human approval is required. Release time has to be selected, and it is also best suited for regulated or high risk system. Fine. So in case of continuous deployment, it is a process that has been done after the manual approval. Once the manual approval is made, okay, meaning that now the software or the product is okay. Now the product or software can be released in the real-time environment. Fine. So every change that passes automated test is released automatically to users. So no person or no individual or no manual approval is required. Fine. So no person needs to approve the release. Fine. See for an example, if we have an e-commerce website, a checkout page bug fix. Okay, bug fix passes all tests and goes live automatically within minutes. Customers see the update right away. See, if once a updation is done, once a integration is done, okay, in the software, and if it gets a manual approval to release in the real-time production, then okay, automatically without any interruption, the software will be released in the real-time usage. Okay, so that we call it as continuous deployment. In case while the user, okay, using the application, getting a bug or getting an error, So what the developer will do, the developer will try to fix the error. Once the error is fixed automatically, okay, again the customer can start using the application for real-time usage. Fine. So not required in continuous deployment. That is human approval is not required in continuous deployment, and releasing of time immediately after successful release. Once the product is tested, then it will be successfully released in the real-time usage, and best suited for fast moving web product and frequent update. Okay, if an application need a frequent updates, or it a kind of fast moving web products, then we can, okay, then the continuous deployment is best suited for. Okay, let me show you the PPT. Okay, now we are going to see the definition of continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Seventh topic in module 1. So what is this continuous delivery? It is a kind of software practice in DevOps framework that keeps an application ready for release at any time. Okay, so it is actually the software that is ready for release before the deployment stage. Okay, some other integration or some other bug fixing or some other testing can be done before this stage to make the software ready to release in the real-time usage. Fine. So developers regularly add new code to a shared repository such as GitHub. Okay, normally all the GitHub is a familiar repository, website where the users, where the developers or programmers will pushing the code for code into the GitHub for real-time usage. Fine. So developers, maybe the developers will have a regular update or a regular integration of code with the previous shared repository. So whenever your new code is added, whenever your new bug is fixed, whenever a certain model is newly added in the previous shared project, it has to be tested properly. And it needs to get the manual approval. After it gets the manual approval, it is okay. The product or the code or the application is ready to release for online usage. Fine. So after all tests pass, the application is prepared for production. A person gives manual approval before the final release, and this process reduces deployment errors and make software update faster. Okay, so this process we call it as continuous delivery. Fine, let me show you a real-time example. A developer fixes an error in an online banking application. Okay, the code is uploaded to GitHub. Automated tools built and test the application. The release manager checks the test results. After approval, the updated application is released to users. An online application is already uploaded in the GitHub. Suddenly, there is a bug in the online application. So what the developer will do, the developer will try to fix the bug. The developer will try to fix the error in the application. Once the error is fixed, again, some other navigator means some other person will check the code with few other text cases. If it is if it works very well, then then the other developer or the other programmer or other manager, will make the software to release it in the online environment. So this is a real-time example for continuous delivery. Okay, so continuous delivery is nothing but making the software really ready to release in the real-time environment after passing through a certain test cases. So the main benefits of continuous delivery: faster software releases, fewer manual mistakes, and early detection of errors, better software quality, and safer and controlled deployment. These are all the main benefits of continuous delivery. And then the representation diagram for continuous delivery. What is this continuous delivery? Always keep the software ready for release. Always making the software ready for release. And continuous delivery is a DevOps practice where code changes are automatically built. Whenever there is a change in the code, it will be automatically built, tested, and prepared for release. Okay, once it is built, tested, and prepared for release, then it will go for a manual approval. Okay, then it goes for a manual approval. So this is the process of continuous delivery. Okay, in DevOps practice. Okay, here we have a diagram of how this continuous delivery works. Okay, the developer write code and commit to repository. Once the developer finished writing the code, then that will be the code, the new code. Okay, the bug corrected code will be added along with the code that is stored in the GitHub. So developers write code and commit to repository. Then the system automatically builds the application and it automatically run few other tests like unit test, integration test, and other tests. And then the quality has to be checked. Okay, since we have done a few updation, few integration in the shared project, it has to be checked. The quality has to be checked. If there is any quality missing, then it has to be redone again. Okay, in order to make the software to be quality enough to release in the real-time environment. So after the quality is checked, if everything is okay, then the release is reviewed and approved by the team, the main team. After approval, the application is deployed to production. Okay, so continuous delivery is nothing but making the product or making the software ready to release in the real-time usage. Okay, what are all the key features as we have already seen? Always keep the software ready for release, high code quality through automation, early bug reduction, faster and safer releases, better visibility and tracking. And what are the typical tools we use for continuous delivery? Jenkins, GitHub, GitLab, or Circle CI, Sonar Cube. So these are all the typical tools for continuous delivery. Okay, and also one example scenario is given for continuous delivery. The same thing, developer, once the developer complete writing the new code, that will be built and tested. The team reviews the result. When the team approves, then the application is ready to release in the real-time environment. Fine. So continuous delivery prepares your software for release at any time. But then you decide when to release the software. Once the team approved the updation or integration, then the application will be directly deployed in the real-time usage. Fine. Now moving on to the next topic of continuous deployment. Fine. Continuous delivery is a software that is ready to release, but it is not yet released. Okay, whereas continuous deployment is a software practice where every successful code change is released automatically. Okay, so successful code change will be released automatically. Developers upload new code to a shared repository such as GitHub. The system automatically builds the application, automated tests, check whether the code works correctly, and security and quality checks are also performed. When all tests pass, the application is deployed to production without any manual approval. Okay, the same thing what process has been done in delivery will also happen in deployment, but then there is no need for approval. Already approvals has been done. So here, once the code is pushed into the real time, once the code is pushed into the GitHub, okay, few other testing will be done, and then automatically the application will be deployed in the real time. Okay, usage. Users can see the update application immediately once the software is deployed in the real-time environment. Okay, so the real-time example for continuous deployment is a developer fixes a bug in an online shopping website. The updated code is pushed to GitHub. The system builds and tests the application. All check passes successfully. The new version is automatically published online. Customer can use the corrected website immediately. So this is the real-time example for continuous deployment. Okay, and the diagram for the representation diagram for continuous deployment is also a DevOps practice where code changes are automatically built, tested, and released to production without manual approval. Here we have a diagram, the working diagram of continuous deployment. The developers write code and commit to a repository, and the system automatically builds and tested the application. Quality checks will be confirmed. Okay, quality checks will be performed after the testing process. Then the if all test passes, then the application is deployed automatically. User access the update application. Once it is deployed in the real-time environment, all the user can start using the updated version software. Fine. So these are again the same tools what we have seen for continuous delivery is also okay, can also be used for continuous deployment. Developer pushes the bug fix, system builds and test, applications deployed deployed automatically. User can see the update. So the continuous deployment releases every successful change automatically. Okay, so let me show you the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Continuous delivery is the process that we do before the release. Okay, how we release the product, how we release the software for real-time usage. If it passes all the tests, if all the quality checks have been completed, okay, we make sure that the software is ready to release, then it will move to the next stage. So what is continuous delivery? A software that is kept ready for release. Okay, once a developer complete writing the code, it has to be checked with all the test cases and the all the test cases and the quality checks has to be done by the team. Once everything is over, okay, we can make sure that the software is ready for release. And in continuous delivery, we need a manual approval. Okay, we need a manual approval. We need a manual approval before production, but in case of continuous deployment, there is no need for manual approval because already it was tested by the team. So the software will be released automatically. So no need for manual approval. And then the team decides when to release the update. The system releases the update after test passes. Once the product passes all the test, automatically it will be released in the real usage in case of continuous deployment. Okay, and continuous delivery is suitable for banking, healthcare, and sensitive system. So these are all the process that we do in DevOps practice. Okay, continuous delivery, okay, is a kind of part we do with continuous integration. Yes, once the new code integrated with the previous shared project, okay, and it passes all the test cases, then automatically the application will be deployed in the real-time usage. It is a process that we do in DevOps practice. Okay, and finally, give more human control over releases, gives faster, and see, once it is pushed to the hosting website, automatically the application will be produced for real-time usage, right? So before releasing the software, we need to make all the tests, make sure that the software is working correctly. Okay, if it is deployed in the real-time usage, automatically all the users can see the updates. Right? So this is the main difference of continuous delivery and continuous deployment. It's a kind of DevOps practice, okay, that we do to release the software in real-time usage. Fine.